My eyes nearly popped out of my head one evening as I sat alone in a quiet restaurant. At the table next to mine, two men were laughing loudly, one of them boasting in a voice that felt like a gut punch. She was an absolute bombshell, he said, chuckling. I nailed her for the first time on her wedding day, right under her clueless husband's nose. I froze, my fork halfway in my mouth. It wasn't just the filth he was spewing. It was the voice. I knew that voice. It belonged to Travis, my best man, the same guy who stood beside me on my wedding day, raising a glass with what I believed was sincere warmth. He had held the ring just moments before I placed it on my wife's finger. And now, he was sitting in a public place, laughing about how he'd slept with someone's wife on her wedding day. Not just someone's, mine. Just 2 hours earlier, I had still believed she was mine. That night wasn't supposed to unfold like this. It was our 3rd wedding anniversary, a night I'd carefully planned to be meaningful. I made a reservation at Gail's, the same cozy restaurant where I'd first asked her to be my girlfriend and later proposed under soft golden lights. An hour before we were supposed to leave, she sent me a text. Work dumped a nightmare project on me. I can't get away. Rain checked. I didn't argue. I didn't even press. I just went anyway, hoping for comfort, maybe a little wine. I asked for a quiet booth tucked into the back, a place where I could drown in nostalgia alone. I never expected fate to seat me beside the crumbling remains of my marriage. Betrayal doesn't explode. It seeps. It seeps into the tiniest cracks, a distracted look, a delayed answer, an unexplained absence. You don't grasp it in the moment. You brush it off, excuse it. Only in the silence afterward does it rip through you with clarity, so sharp it feels like a knife. Our wedding day had seemed flawless. Crisp late fall air, sunlight streaming through the windows, her white lace gown glowing like something from a dream. Everyone said we looked perfect together. Even Travis. He clapped me on the back just before the ceremony began. His grip was firm, his smile genuine. You did it, man. Finally locking it down. I remember that hug now. How long he lingered after the formal photos. I had been outside, shaking hands, laughing with friends. She had gone inside, supposedly for a final touch-up. I didn't know she was also getting undressed. It had happened just 10 feet away from where I stood. That was the first clue I'd missed. Later that night, after the reception, she said she was exhausted, blisters from her shoes, an upset stomach from the champagne. When we got to the honeymoon suite, she barely touched me. I just need to sleep, she whispered, curling under the covers before I could even fully undress. I didn't question her. Why would I? We were married. We had forever ahead of us. But forever had been stolen before the ink was even dry. Now at Gail's, I sat stone still. I listened to Travis laugh. At me, mocking the clueless husband, the idiot who never caught on. That idiot was me. I wasn't even angry yet. Just hollow. All the years we'd built together, the inside jokes, the whispered promises, the small victories, it all cracked open in one overheard sentence. And the worst part? I was the punchline in their private joke. They didn't even bother to keep their voices down. I left the restaurant with trembling hands, not from fear or rage, but from the pure adrenaline of clarity. I wasn't wrong. I hadn't been crazy or insecure. The distance, the shifts, the hidden guilt in her eyes, they were real. I didn't go home. I didn't call her. I didn't cry. I went to the one place betrayal couldn't hide, the past. I opened our wedding album, not the glossy one that sat on the shelf, but the raw, unedited digital archive from the photographer. Dozens of behind-the-scenes shots lived there. I scrolled, breath held, until I landed on photo 167. There was Travis, standing too close behind her, his hand resting low on her back, leaning in with a familiarity that no friend should have had. She was laughing, her face turned just enough to show warmth. Warmth meant for me. I checked the timestamp. Then I remembered. The venue had cameras in the hallways and loading zones. Not inside the bridal suite, but close enough. I still had the coordinator's contact saved. I drafted a polite email, pretending to collect material for an anniversary slideshow. The response came quickly. Travis entered the rear hallway near the bridal prep room at 2:43 p.m. He exited at 3:05 p.m. The ceremony began at 3:15. 12 minutes. No one had ever questioned those minutes. Until now, a month after the wedding, Travis packed up and left town, claiming a job opportunity in Denver. He and my wife stopped messaging. No more calls. No visits. Silence. It didn't look like a clean break. It looked like guilt. I remember the phone she used back then. She'd never thrown it away. I found it buried in an old storage box, dust-covered and forgotten. Most of the messages have been deleted, but one image lingered in the cache. A blurry mirror selfie. It was Travis, shirtless, in what looked like a hotel bathroom. Dated the day of our wedding. That's when the truth slammed into me with brutal finality. This was an accident. It wasn't heat-of-the-moment madness. It was orchestrated, rehearsed, cool, and I had smiled through all, cake on my face. That night, I stared at my reflection, not to see myself, but to say goodbye to the man who let it happen. Tomorrow, someone new would wake up, and he was ready to destroy everything. They say revenge is best served cold. Mine came like ice, polite, courteous, gift-wrapped. Because my wife wasn't just going to lose me. She was going to lose everything she built on top of that lie. Step 1, act like nothing's wrong. The night after I found the proof, I walked to the front door holding roses, her favorite color. She looked up from the couch, Instagram still open on her phone. "For me?" she asked, eyes lighting up. "Of course," I said gently. "I missed you last night." I saw it, the guilt, a flicker. The kind people give when they think they've gotten away with something. I kissed her cheek and told her I'd booked a weekend getaway. Somewhere quiet, coastal, romantic. She beamed, completely unaware she was stepping toward the edge of the cliff. Step 2, set the financial trap. For the next 10 days, I played the role of the perfect husband. I made breakfast, sent sweet midday texts, watched her favorite shows beside her like nothing had changed. But behind the scenes, I was planning her end. I set up a separate checking account, rerouted our salaries, took over managing the household expenses, shut down the joint credit cards, and collected every important document she'd ever signed. Mortgage papers, insurance forms, everything. I wasn't just preparing to walk away. I was assembling evidence and ensuring I had the reins in my hands. Ending a marriage isn't about filing paperwork. It's about making sure they can't twist the narrative. That was step 2. Step 3, draw her out. One night while she was in the shower, I placed her iPad on the kitchen counter, open to a random forum thread titled, "Is it cheating if it was before the reception?" Then I went upstairs and waited. About 12 minutes later, I heard her footsteps pause. "Hey, did you see this?" I asked, playing dumb. "What, on the iPad?" She responded, trying to sound casual. "Just some silly stuff." I shrugged, but I saw the flicker in her eyes. She was unsettled, not because I confronted her, but because something inside her told her I might know. That kind of doubt is the perfect leash. The finale came during a weekend escape. Just the two of us, in a quiet seaside rental, wine glasses and salt in the air. On the final evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I spoke. "I've been thinking," I said softly. She turned toward me. "Yeah, about trust and truth and what it means to start over." Then I placed a small box on the table. It wasn't a ring. It was a USB stick. "This," I said, "is confirmation of what I've already figured out." Her face turned pale. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I gave her 2 clear options. Either I file and expose everything, including the timeline that proves our affair started before we even exchanged vows, or she walks away quietly. No fight, no claims. She hands over the car keys, the house, and leaves my life completely. She didn't say a word, just stared at the sea, like maybe it would swallow her whole. And for the first time in years, I felt something close to peace. She didn't scream. She didn't protest. She sat there, trembling, the USB still untouched on the table between us. "You're not serious," she whispered. "I am," I said, Standing up? But I'm not out to ruin you. You did that on your own. The next morning, she packed in silence, left behind the car, the keys, her name on the deed. She walked away from everything she thought she controlled. The fallout was quick. Travis reached out. Hey, long time. Hope you're well. Can we talk? I didn't answer. He sent a few more texts, then tried email. I forwarded it all to HR at his office. Included the selfie he snapped in that hotel bathroom. 2 days later, I got notification. Travis was now open to work. She tried spinning the story to our mutual circle. But once Travis's name came up, the sympathy dried up. Even her closest friend, the one who cried during our vows, messaged me, I didn't know. She always said you were the perfect guy. I replied, she just wanted someone who made her feel flawless, not someone who actually was. The divorce? No resistance. No courtroom drama. She knew what I had and didn't want it aired. She walked away with a storage unit and a last name that no longer opened doors. I kept the house, the calm, and the future she once tried to rewrite. Travis? Word is, he left town quietly. No job, no fanfare. I hope every mirror reminds him of that one photo he took on my wedding day, believing he'd won. They always think the quiet ones won't act. That being loyal means you're weak. That being kind means you'll forgive. But they never see what happens when silence turns into strategy. That's not grace. That's precision. It's been over a year. I changed the locks, repainted the walls, replaced every piece of furniture. It's like she never existed here. The house feels bigger, not physically, but truthfully. No tension hiding in the corners. No laughter that didn't reach the eyes. No deceit curling up next to me at night. I like the quiet, the kind that doesn't come after betrayal. She did try to reach out once. Sent an email. I wish we could have talked before it ended. I never opened it. Not because I was angry, because I was done. Some chapters aren't meant to be revisited. Some people don't get closure. Just consequences. And Travis? Nothing but silence. No mutual friends left.